What's going on, everyone? It's Mickey, and I'm here with Laura. How you doing, Laura?
I'm good. How's everybody doing? How
How's
are you?
everyone doing? Yes, it's exciting to have you here, my friend. I've been seeing your progression in real estate, and I will admit I'm a big fan of yours, and I definitely wanted to get to pick your brain a little bit, maybe bring some value to the community and people that are watching, and just an overall awesome kick-ass interview with you because I have admired what you've been doing at such a fast pace. So congratulations on your success, first of all.
Thank you so much. It means a lot coming from someone who is very successful.
Appreciate you, my friend. You're on the right track. So let's talk a little bit about yourself. I want to get to know who you are. Tell me your background, your everything that I want that you are as far as Laura.
Do you want like my entire life story?
I want to know whatever you want to talk about. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so well, my name is Lara Karacic. I'm here in the DFW, Texas area, Dallas Fort Worth area. I am 24 years old. I just turned 24 in August last month, and I am a huge traveler. I'm trying to slow down a little bit with the traveling due to my business just growing very quickly, and your clients want you to be here in town all the time. So I That's basically my thing. I have 30 koi fish. I have a koi pond in the backyard, and I really love the koi. I spend a lot of time with them, and you could just stand outside and watch the koi and think about your entire life and think about what you should be doing in your business and think about what you're doing wrong and just replay conversations with people that you've had and just how you can become a better person, I guess, in your business. And so that's a huge part of my life is having those koi around. And I never really got to have like actual pets the past couple of years because I've been traveling so much. And I was a flight attendant before. For the past 2 years, I was a flight attendant. And I finally just left my flight attendant job last week, actually. So that's very exciting. I'm now doing real estate full time.
Awesome, awesome. So that was the same question. So you were a flight attendant right before you became a full time real estate agent. How long were you a flight attendant? And do you mind sharing some of the things you did as flight attendant, some of the things you did like, you didn't like? I definitely want the audience to know about, especially what I have flight attendant friends, for example, that might be want to do real estate.
Yeah, for sure. So I actually do have a lot of flight attendant friends that are now pursuing real estate. I don't know if they'll end up doing it full time or not, but I'm pretty sure I may have had some kind of influence on that. Not sure though. I'd like to say I did, but nobody really talked to me about it.
Yes,
They
you
just
did.
kind of started doing it. I'm like, how are you doing it right after I just started doing it, a couple months in or whatever. But so I was a flight attendant for 2 years. And I really fell in love with the job when I first started. It was like a dream come true. Never thought I would be a flight attendant, thought about doing it for the rest of my life. And then once you get into a relationship as a flight attendant, your partner is also a flight attendant. You're both out of town all the time. It's very, very hard to be apart, right? So the average couple, they see each other every single night, right? You get to be in bed with your partner every single night. You get to see them every single night. And it obviously, I think seeing somebody every day doesn't really help the relationship get stronger because you're not missing each other, right? I do get that, right? But it was just really, really hard. It was definitely very hard, like us being apart and him now he's out of town all the time too. So it's still hard on me, but I can still travel with him. I can meet him on layovers just for a night. If I have time, say I have time, I don't have appointments that evening. I can still go meet him on layovers if I want to. He has the flight benefits. I have the flight benefits, and it was just, I definitely would say I fell in love with the job. And then we got furloughed. So we got on unemployment in October 2020. We got furloughed. Almost, I would say, about 9,000 flight attendants, the most junior flight attendants at American Airlines, got furloughed in October. And that was kind of like, okay, well, I've always wanted to do real estate. So I spoke to Eric, my partner, and I was like, hey, I kind of want to move down to Texas and do real estate. We were living in Philadelphia at the time, Philadelphia. And I was like, hey, I kind of want to start doing real estate. Like, it's just something that's been on my mind. He said, okay, let's go. So we moved. We got furloughed. we got furloughed and we moved down here. And I started my like courses to get my license in October, and we were traveling a lot. We still had flight benefits during furlough, so I would have gotten it done a lot quicker if it wasn't for all the traveling. And like we went to Colorado and we went skiing for a week and stuff like that. It was just like going to see the family for the holidays and stuff like that, you know. So it took me about 4 months to get it done. I think 4 or 5 months. It was self-paced online, and so with that being said, so we got furloughed, right? I got my license, and then they called us back from furlough. I think it was May. So in May, we went back to work. And at that point, I had my license. I've already had it for a couple months at that point. And I was like, okay, this is really a lot getting my business started. I don't have a big sphere of influence here. And I was like, okay, I'm going to manage this. I'm going to do both, right? I fell in love with the flight attendant job. That's what I wanted to do forever. I just wanted to do real estate, you know, part-time and see where it takes me, right? Just see what happens. Like, I still want to keep both. I don't ever want to leave being a flight attendant. It never crossed my mind to ever actually leave, right? So then I started getting the business, right? I was doing the cold calls. I was getting the business. And it was just growing. And I was not telling my clients that I was a flight attendant. It was very, very hard. They would call me. I'm in the airport. All the commotion in the background. Make sure you don't leave your bags by themselves unattended. Like, I wasn't telling any of my clients that I was, you know, a flight attendant, because who's going to want to work with someone who's out of town all the time? You know, so I wasn't working with buyers, but I was managing. So my first sale, I did a couple leases to begin with. Those clients knew I was a flight attendant. I didn't tell them any different. I didn't say anything. I was just like, hey, by the way, I'm a flight attendant. They were just leases. And we managed to schedule showings. I was trying to be here as much as I possibly could with my schedule. And I know other flight attendants, they do it. You know, they fly 100 hours a month, which is way more than I would ever do with real estate. But they do it. And, you know, so yeah, so I wasn't telling my clients, and they're calling me. I'm like on the plane, the flight attendant, the lead flight attendant is making announcements. Like, oh, stow your bags in the overhead bins, or they're playing announcements. And it's just like, I have to go into the lab, but you could still hear the announcements in the lab, you know, in the airplane. And I'm just like, this is very stressful for me. This is not working for me. I'm like, okay, so I was flying way lower time. I was managing to fly as minimal as I possibly could that the company would allow me to do, because we have minimums that we have to fly. As minimum as I could do is what I did. So to try to manage both, you know. And then like my clients started Googling me and finding me on LinkedIn and seeing that like my flight attendant job was on there. And I'm like, oh gosh, okay. So here I am trying to like, you know, manage my business and stuff. So it was a lot easier, I will say. When you have listings, it's very easy to manage doing flying and having listings, because, you know, you list the property and then after that it's phone calls, texts, and emails, right? I don't actually have to go show properties. I don't have to really do anything. So my mindset was, okay, well, I'll just do listings for the time being, and the buyers can come later, right? Or if I have a listing where they're also moving somewhere in the DFW area, they can become a buyer as well, you know? So that's kind of where I was at. I was like, okay, let's do listings. So I've had multiple listings at this point, and I was still managing everything, and everything was going smoothly. So I will say it can be done. But you know, you can do the flight attendant stuff with real estate, and I know a lot of flight attendants who do.
No, absolutely. So, and I love that. I love the passion, especially that you have coming from such a hardcore industry you're part of, because it's very time consuming, and it just drains you on energy because you're in so many time zones. You know, you're always lagging in a way, right? So coming into real estate, and then you have to perform, be the uppity realtor that's always happy, and because this is a big purchase, right? For your client, for a big sell. So we have to give them the best service. And the fact that you did that is very commendable. So it is very possible for people to do what you did at any age. You just have to organize yourself and have the right desire. So pretty much what you did. So I love that part right there. So let me ask you another question, my friend. So, whenever you joined real estate, right? Before you did, better yet, what were your initial thoughts of real estate when you wanted to do it versus when you actually got in real estate? Was because everyone has different experiences. Some people had a really good experience. Some people had horrible experience when they got into real estate. What was your reality when you came in, as far as the work that it took to do what you're doing now?
Well, I don't have a big sphere of influence here in the DFW area. Like I said, I just moved here in October 2020. But just what I have found like so far. So obviously being a flight attendant, it's all customer service, customer service, customer service. You got to make the client happy or the customers happy, right? On the plane. Obviously, number one reason that we're there is for their safety in case something goes wrong, right? On the aircraft. But it was just a lot of customer service. And I'm like, okay, well, real estate is like that. And you have your clients and you get to build way better relationships with people, I think, and clients. You see the customer for one flight and that's it, right? But with real estate, like you're working on huge transactions with people. Like these are very, very important purchases or sales, right? For the listings that I've been doing. And people are very stressed out. They have no idea what to expect when it comes to selling their property. They're crying. They're like, oh, well, I don't know if it's going to sell. Or they're like, oh, well, I don't know if it's going to appraise. And they're just very stressed out about everything. So customer service, definitely, I think that was huge for me. And just my initial thoughts were, I'm seeing other very young people, like 24, 25-year-olds, they're doing it. They're selling multi-million-dollar homes. Why can't I do it?
Exactly.
I'm like, huge sales, huge transactions, So, the reality kind of slapped me in the face, though, once I actually started it, especially now that I'm solely relying on my business to make me money. Back then, it was like, oh, well, I know my flight attendant paycheck's going to come, right? I know that's coming. I know the dates that it's coming. I know I'm going to get paid just because, it's a stable job, right?
Exactly.
But then once I stopped, I'm like, okay, I'm kind of stressed out now. I was like, I don't know. Like I'm anxious for the future. I'm anxious because now it's mostly relying on just me and myself, and I have to go out there and get the business. So I think, it's not like a normal job. It's not, you just wake up and go to work. No, it's definitely not like that. It's, you have to put in the work. And that is the actual reality of it. It's not, it looks nice on people's social medias, right? Posting, oh, I'm selling this, I'm closing this, this person, I'm doing $1.2 million showing today on their story, on their Instagram story and stuff like that. And I knew it was, you get what you put in, but it doesn't really like hit until you're actually doing it.
Yep. That's a fact. So everyone, that's watching, a lot of stuff you see like on Netflix or whatever, like some Sunset. It's a great show. I like to watch it whenever I can because it's a good escape from reality. But the reality that she's saying is, the cutthroat of this business is extremely competitive. The turnaround is extremely huge. I believe 80% of the agents within 2 years either quit real estate, and I believe the other like 20 or something or 10 or something they quit within like 5 years of that. So very few people do make it, and it's such a cutthroat, business. The fact that you're even seeing some success so soon, it's great because of the fact that you do put in the hours. It's not just putting it on paper and wishing it's going to happen, like law of attraction, because law of attraction works if you put the work. That's all. That's all it is. But you do have to put some work into it. You're going to have to get educated and apply what you're learning, because we could read books all day long, like a lot of people post on Instagram. But if you're not applying what you're being taught, then there's no point in even reading and picking up that book. So the reason she's been successful in such a fast pace is because she's applying. She's putting in the work. It is not easy work. People see us just getting paid, and they're like, "Oh God!" I have a client, for example, who said the other day, "Hey, Mickey, I noticed that every realtor I met has Mercedes. I'm in the wrong industry." And I told him, "Look, it's either they're extremely in debt or they're not making a lot of money, because a lot of us don't make a lot of money." And I believe NAR said that 60% or less make under 50,000 a year, which is less than a salary.
That's pretty low.
Yeah, it's pretty low, right? And I told him, look, that realtor is probably successful. There's very few of them there are. However, to get there is following advice that she's giving you guys. at any pace, if you're going to be a brand new agent or an older agent in this industry, definitely look into what she's done. Okay, so let's go to the next question. So, and this is kind of intriguing because you're a brand new agent, right? And a lot of people think that coming into a brokerage, like a huge, humongous one, is the key to success, because before you come into real estate, people think, okay, where you join, they're going to give you leads and all this kind of stuff, right? But a lot of people might think that eXp is not so much newbie friendly, right? But in reality, it's a total opposite, because there's a ton of training, not just by eXp, but as far as who you join. Team Legacy is who you're under, so there's a ton of training there too. So tell me a little bit about what made you choose eXp.
Well, so my sponsor, Jeanette Bell, she and Amanda Whitespear, they called me. They're from Team Legacy. They called me. I don't know how they found me. I just don't know.
It's meant to be. That's all it is.
Amanda sent me an email to set up a call. I was getting emails left and right? So I don't know where y'all are finding me on the Trek website or whatever, that whenever I like applied for the state and national test, I was getting emails left and right. Keller Williams, Coldwell Banker. I got one from eXp. I was getting some from like other like smaller brokerages, you know? And I set up a call, obviously, with Amanda, and then they ended up calling me one day early, which was the funniest thing, because I had an eyelash appointment and I just walked out and I had a missed call, and they're like, oh, well, like, why didn't you answer? You know, I'm kind of like, well, what did I do wrong? I'm like, I don't want to make a bad first impression, like on this brokerage that I plan on probably maybe joining, right, as a realtor. So I really vibed with them on the phone. I really liked them, and it's very easy for me to say yes, just in general. But like the other people that were like sending me emails, like from Keller and Coldwell Banker, like I didn't really see the connection, especially like from Coldwell. It was one of like this older couple, and I was just kind of like, I don't know about that. And it was like joining a team, and a lot of people say join a team when you first start out, but I didn't want to be that flight attendant who's never in town, and I'm on a team getting all the benefits from being on a team, but not actually bringing the production, right? Not actually producing like results and stuff. So I was like, I don't really want to be on a team and have to like be in an office every day. And that was a huge thing with the eXp, is that it's cloud-based. So I can literally get on eXp World. So it's this app that we have for people who don't know, right? So eXp World is it's this app that I have on my computer, and I can literally talk to like brokers. I can talk to other people with like training, and like whatever questions I have, I can always just get on there and I can talk to a broker, like obviously normal hours, like business hours, but still it was just not having to be in an office every single day, because nobody's going to want you on their team, or nobody's going to want you at their brokerage if you're not going to show up, right? Because I'm a flight attendant. So at that point I was, so I was just kind of like, well, this is really great. Sponsorship program, that's huge. Other brokerages, they don't have that, so that's passive income that you could be making, like literally while you're sleeping, other people are working and you're making money. And then lots of training. Lots of trainings offered. I haven't completely taken advantage just because I was so busy with flying and stuff, but I have started. Like I got on 2 calls yesterday. One was like a script practice, and one was like the women in real estate that Team Legacy offers. And yeah, so, and then my mentor, definitely love the fact that I had a mentor. He's been super great, answers all the questions that I have. If I call him, he doesn't answer 24/7, but he will call me back, or he'll text me, and I can ask him questions, whatever questions I have, and he always answers my questions, and very helpful. Like I've had a crazy situation with one of my clients, and I was like, okay, well, what do I do? Because I don't want to get in trouble, like I'm brand new. Like imagine me getting in trouble like my first 6 months of being a realtor, so he just kind of like walked me through it and the situation and stuff. And it was very, very helpful having him.
That's awesome. And now you mentioned your mentor, right? And so I don't know if you know this because you're pretty new in real estate, but a lot of times you go to brokerages, there is mentors that are retired, that coaches better yet, that are retired, that don't sell much, or very little experience, or super just old fashioned, right? The benefit of eXp, guys, is that you are getting a mentor. Her mentor is actually one of the top 2% or 1% of the company, really. He sells a ton of real estate. His name's Jeremy Smith. And I know him personally. He's a great realtor, also in DFW. And the fact that you get a local mentor like she did as a brand new agent speaks very highly of eXp. So just with her herself, I mean, she saw great benefit of having an active agent in the field that actually sells a lot of volume and not just says it and doesn't back it up. So that's great that you have Jeremy as your mentor. So your experience with eXp thus far has been pretty positive. I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, well, I don't plan on leaving. So that's good. I'm having other brokerages contacting me. Don't know why, but they're contacting me to like,
Awesome.
try to get switched over. And I just tell them no. I'm like, no, I don't plan on leaving. There is literally nothing missing for me with you guys with eXp currently. You know, there's nothing that I'm like, oh, well, I wish they would do this for me, or oh, I wish they would do my calls. Like, no, your business, like switching brokerages left and right, is not something that anybody wants to be doing. First of all, not a good look, I think. But you just don't like. What can one brokerage over the other possibly be literally doing for you and your business if you're not willing to put in the work, right? So I don't think like if I were to switch over, what are they going to do for me? You know, how are they going to help me grow my business? What exactly are they going to do if it's not me doing it by myself? You know, it's more so I need to be doing it. I need to be growing my business by myself because no one's going to do it for me, you know?
Exactly. So not only you're getting your business in real estate, like what you're saying, so you're getting your passive income that is a big opportunity here at EHP. We're not forcing anyone to do that as far as rev share goes, but the fact that you are going to get equity in the company is huge. You're
Yeah.
here long enough; it's going to pay out in time. It's just like an investment. You buy a flip, you're not going to see money right away. You're going to see money in a few months from now, maybe a year from now. That's just exactly the same way EHP is. It's an investment. Don't see it as such as just coming into the company and that's it. It's so much more.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like I became a realtor to sell, but that was just kind of like the cherry on top for me was the rev share.
And the
For sure.
stocks.
Yeah.
Double
Yeah.
cherries.
Yeah.
Double cherries. So, okay, now I have a question. I'm super curious. Okay, so you said earlier you don't get a lot of buyers because you didn't have the time from it. I'm sure they came to you, but you probably didn't have the time or effort to do that because you're always flying. Now, you said earlier most of your business came from listings, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, so how did you do that? As a busy person as yourself, how did you get this business? I'm curious.
Okay, so I knew I had to start making calls because, like I said, I don't have a huge sphere of influence here in the DFW area because I moved here in October 2020. So I've only been here for about a year now, right? So I was like, okay, well, I need to get out there some way and like get the business right. And I have a really good friend. His name is Zach. He's at eXp as well, and he's been at eXp since January. And so we just got in touch because Jeremy was also his mentor. So we were all on like the mentor call, and Zach was like, hey, we should like add each other on social media, blah, blah, blah. So I got to talking with Zach, and we were like, well, we should start doing cold calls because we were watching this guy on YouTube. I think he might actually be with EXP too. I'm not 100% sure. But we were watching this guy on YouTube, and he has like this whole script playbook thing that he literally offers to people for free. We both downloaded that and we did script practice every single day for an hour a day. And then we had other people joining us at eXp who were doing the script practice on Zoom as well. And it was very, very helpful. So I was doing cold calls literally like every morning that I had the chance in my hotel room on layovers, even in the evenings, I would cold call. I would just cold call, like all the time, just calling FISBOs. I was using this system. It's called RedX. And the system's great. You pay like $45 a month. You get 2 separate like locations in the DFW area. You could even do even more if you want. But I was just cold calling. I've had 2 referrals from people that I know. And then a couple were like I found on Facebook, like just people were looking for leases, but it was mostly cold calls. And doing the script practice every day helped tremendously, I think. The first time I called someone, oh my God, it was bad. It was like the first person that I called trying to get them to be my client. It was pretty bad.
Were you
But
stuttering?
you practice more, you call more, you get more comfortable. Obviously you're not going to get comfortable with something if you're not doing it all the time. So I was just calling all the time. And I would say I probably call at least 20 20 to 25 numbers every morning, and then in the evening I try to do that many as well. And I would say probably out of 150 calls, one of those turns into a listing.
So
It's a
that's a
lot.
good number. That's those are now guys. This is, everyone's number is different. Some people
Yeah.
take more calls. Some people take less calls. Hers
I
are
think
150, right?
yeah. I think it might depend in the area too. Like
Yeah.
the amount of realtors we have in the DFW area is literally insane. It's not like I'm just in like a small little town where I'm like one of the only realtors. These people are getting thousands of calls every single day once their for sale by owner hits the market on Zillow, you know? So people are tired of hearing from realtors, you know? So it's definitely like you have to learn how to like just provide value to these people and try to get them to list with you over the thousands of other realtors that are calling them, you know? Like who wants to talk to a realtor on the phone? They don't even answer a lot of the time, you know? And then it's like you text them or you leave a voicemail and then sometimes you don't even get a call back most of the time, actually.
Yeah. No, but that's insane that you were able to call. It's consistency though. If you didn't call those 150 people, there's no way you would have ever had that one listing, right? So
Exactly.
that's insane. So now, do you ever get any kind of objections? Any kind of tips you can give the audience as far as what you're doing?
Oh yeah, a lot of people say, "Oh, well, I have a friend who's a realtor. I'll just use them if I decide to." Or, "Oh, I already chose a realtor." And then you're like, "What's their name?" And they're like, "Oh, I don't know." Then you get it. It's like, okay, you know, like don't lie. Like people say, "Oh, well, I want to wait like another week or another 2 weeks to see what happens if my house will sell without a realtor." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll follow up in a week." But that follow up is I show up to their house follow up. It's not, no, I'm not calling you. I'm showing up to your house in the evening. Like that is just what I'm doing. It was really tough because it's like 105 degrees here in the summer in DFW, you know? So it sucked. I'm like sweating all the time, going door knocking and stuff. But, you know, I've only door knocked like a couple times, like shown up, or like I'll show up to an open house. And then it's a very nice property. They end up getting it sold on their own, blah, blah, blah. But it's all a numbers game. That's just what I have to say. It's all, you just gotta get out there and you gotta do it. Otherwise you're not gonna get any business. How do you expect to get anything, you know?
Exactly. And obviously, we all know that the fortune is in the follow up. So that's what you did.
Yeah.
If you didn't show up, like you said earlier. Now I'm intrigued. So whenever you show up, what do you bring to you with you to the
Like the listing appointments?
well, not even the listing appointment. Like, so whenever you follow up a week from now,
Yeah.
the FISBOs, what do you do usually when you just randomly show up?
Okay. Yeah, so I have a flyer that I made. It's front and back. I got it printed at Staples. It's like good thick paper. It's not just printer paper that I have like at home at my printer. And the front says like integrity in every real estate move. It has my photo, it has my information. On the back, it has testimonials from 3 previous clients that I've had. And I just give that to them with a business card and I say, hey, like, if there's anything that I can do for you, or like I just try to kind of earn their business. And I also bring them a seller's disclosure notice because a lot of people don't realize that they need that. If they need the lead-based paint disclosure, I bring that. Just try to provide value to them. And now Jeremy created this course, and so I got on that course and I was watching the videos, and there's so much in there that I wasn't doing, that I wasn't providing to sellers to try to get their business. Like he has like this sheet that's like 48 things that we do for you when you hire us to list your property. I never thought of that. You know, it's just like little things to provide value. That's what I'm doing, you know?
Absolutely. So that's huge, and you came prepared, not just show up. So that's
Yeah.
another tip, I
But
guess.
now I'm like, for my listing appointments, I don't do like the traditional listing appointments, and maybe I should start. But mine aren't really as formal. I don't know. I mean, a lot of like my clients in the past, they've said like, "Oh, I really like your vibe, and I just like the way that you work, and I like your honesty because I'm straight up. If I don't think your house is gonna be able to sell for X amount, I'll tell you. Or like if there's,
Honestly,
I want you to ask me all the questions, and I want to give you all the answers, so you don't have any hesitations with listing.
absolutely.
With listing it with me, and I just want to, of course, try to provide that value. Just try to get them to understand where I'm coming from, and like how much work this actually takes, you know? And a lot of the times I'll go into a listing appointment and I'll already have the photographer scheduled. You know, it's easy to cancel. It's easy to cancel it, right? So
Yeah,
I'll go into
exactly.
the listing appointment. I'll be like, how does it sound like 2 p.m. on Saturday for the photographer? And they're like, that's fine. You
I'm
know,
already done.
I have just grown to have so much more confidence in myself these past 6 months with real estate and trying to get the clients. You know, it's back then it was not like that. And now that I have all the resources that I actually need from Jeremy's course that he provided, that was a huge game changer in my confidence, because when you obviously my first listing appointment, I wasn't really prepared. I didn't know that I had to bring a tape measure with me. I had no idea. It's like, you know, you go in and you're like learning as you go, right? But now I've basically mastered everything that I need to bring, and my confidence level has gone like skyrocketed from my first listing appointment that I've ever had.
Yeah, you know what I usually I've been doing lately? Do you have an iPhone?
Yeah.
You know, you have a measurer on there, a lidar measurer.
Oh yeah, I have that on
Yeah,
there. Can you
yeah,
can
well,
you
I have that. I use it. Yeah, it's such a like if I happen to forget my laser tape measure, I
Yeah.
actually use that for measuring now. So it's actually pretty accurate because I've done the laser and that. It's actually like
I didn't
right
even
there.
know that. I was
Yeah,
like, "Oh,
play
this
with
is
it.
not accurate." Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah, play with it. It's insane.
Yeah,
It's really
I'm gonna
insane.
have to try it here at home today.
Yeah, practice because it's kind of weird at first. So
Yeah, for sure.
what do you think? Okay, so you went full time, and that's that's awesome because a lot of people are trying to become full time agents. So for the aspiring agents that are right now trying to become a full time agent, Jeremy Smith also is one of those examples that he was a full time employee somewhere else, and he was like you, part time agent, and he became full time. Sound like you? What kind of advice can you give people that are trying to do this full time?
Well, for me, it was more so how much time is this other job taking away from my business? You know, it's you really sit down and you think about it, and you also I was just thinking about like my future family, my future, like, and having kids, and obviously being a flight attendant is different than a normal land job, right? A normal 9 to 5, because you're out of town all the time, you know? But it just made me think like, well, what do I want when I have babies? I don't want to be leaving town all the time. Why would I want to be out of town? Like, who's going to take care of my babies? My family's in another state. My hopefully future husband's mom is in another state as well. You know, so it's just like it makes you really think, and you're like, the flexibility with being a realtor is insane. The difference, like everyone's like, oh, being a flight attendant, it's the most flexible job ever. No, it's not. You're still expected to show up, and you're still expected to work, and you're expected to be on time and out of town. And I was just like, I'm like, this is, you know, it's not the job that I fell in love with. Like after we came back from furlough, everything had changed. The passengers changed. The passengers are crazy now, and they're starting fights on planes and verbally abusive and stuff like that. And um, I was just like, you know, I just thought about it, and I'm like, I would talk to Jeremy, my mentor, and every week he would be like, "You'll know once your other job is getting in the way of your business," and it was, you know. So that's definitely, you know, my advice to people is just think about your goals, think about where you want to be, like come up with a vision in your head of what you want for you and your future family, and just act on it.
Yeah, and there was a question in one of the comments below. It says, "Did numbers scare you with being a real estate agent, sales and stuff? I hate math." And so someone said pretty much asking, do the do the numbers scare you? Like I guess like running numbers for your clients. By the way,
Like comps.
yeah,
Oh no. I mean all the comps are on the MLS. You know, you can literally see everything on the MLS, and you can see the photos of the houses that sold, you could see what they listed for, you could see what they sold for, and you just base it off that. Because if you're like, okay, I'll be straight up. My first client, that listing expired. My first seller, because he would not budge on what he thought his property was worth. We listed it probably 100. So this was my first client. So keep in mind, your girl is hype. I first listing appointment. I'm hype. I just want to go in there and I just want to get the listing. Doesn't matter how. He also didn't want to pay commission, like a high commission. He was like the lowest commission possible, and that impacts buyers agents as well. I think there's a lot. It's not right, in my opinion, that buyers agents are going out there and telling their buyers, oh, well, we shouldn't go see this property because low key they're only offering a 2% commission. I just think that's wrong.
Yeah, there's some out
But
there like that. Yeah, absolutely.
that's just me, right? But he wasn't offering a good commission. He wanted to list it $100,000 more than what it was worth. And keep in mind, I ran the comps, but I was just excited because this was my first deal that I could have had, right? And I thought it was going to go well, and it ended up expiring because he would not lower the price. He said once the expiration was coming up, he said, extend it, same terms, same price, same everything. I said no. At that point, I had learned so much about myself and my business, and like wasting my time on clients who they're not serious sellers. He's like, my client was like, oh well, there's probably no serious buyers, they're not serious buyers. And I'm like, well, you need to think about yourself. Are you actually a motivated seller? Because it doesn't sound like it to me. You're not being realistic about this at all. And I just told him, and I was like, I refuse to extend it unless we can lower the price. And he's like, okay, well, yeah. And then he was like, okay, well, we're not going to lower the price. Because after I told him, I was like, well, you don't seem like a motivated seller. After he said, well, those buyers aren't motivated, I guess I hurt his feelings. And he was like, well, just forget it. I don't want to sell my house. Blah, blah. I'm like, you didn't want to sell it to begin with. Jeez.
Well, those are things you learn as you age in this business.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Confidence levels changed. I've learned so much about wasting my time on people that's unnecessary, because that person who was wasting my time, I could go out there and I could find someone who won't waste my time, who will be an actual serious seller or a serious buyer, motivated.
Exactly. Now, I have another question for you. So I see you pretty active in social media. I love your vacation photo, by the way. It kind of makes me want to see your profile. So you and your boyfriend have incredible photos, by the way. Beautiful couple. Now, have you ever gotten any business from social media? I mean, what's your success on that so far?
So to be honest, I have not gotten any business, but I will say, pretty sure those people who are taking their realtor courses right now did it because of my social media. I will say. So I'm thinking, my thought process with that is, I'm going to continuously post. I'm going to try to grow as much as I can, start following more realtors in other states, get referrals, because when people see that you're successful, they're like, oh, well, I want to do that. Or, oh, maybe I want to switch to eXp from my current brokerage, when they see how well you're doing and how happy you actually are, through your social media. But I will say, definitely need to spend more time on social media. I tried running Facebook ads back then, and I think it's just so saturated. There's way too many realtors here in this area that it was just not really working out with the Facebook ads. But I will say, through my social media, what's it called? Sorry, I'm asking Eric to bring me my laptop charger. I apologize. I really apologize. Okay, sorry. Because it's, yeah. Anyways, my social media. So I will say I definitely need to be active a lot more on social media. And I think that's going to bring a ton of business.
But she's actually refreshing, I believe. There you go. Okay, there you go.
What did you say?
You were paused.
Oh, that's weird. Why was it paused?
Oh no, your screen, I think, was buffering.
Oh, that's weird. Well, did you know what you said?
No, you just started talking about it and then it froze. You said about your social media that you need.
No, I definitely have to be more active on social media, because I'm pretty sure that's going to bring me a ton more clients, because like the realtors who are very successful selling multi-million-dollar homes, they are very active on social media.
Absolutely. Social media is extremely powerful. And I don't know if you know, the video content is king right now. So the CEOs of Instagram, for example, about 2-3 years ago, they said that Instagram is no longer a photo sharing app; it's a video sharing app. So if that doesn't tell you where we're at already, today, find times on that, because TikTok is one of the biggest platforms now, period, and it's all video. So that's
exactly where I'm heading with my business. I just got a gimbal in the mail. I ordered a gimbal. You know what that is?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I love it.
Yeah, I definitely want to start, recording videos, and like the open houses that I have, I want to post like reels of those, and just like I'll be honest that the properties that I have sold, none of them have been like breathtaking, right? So it's like, do I want to advertise those? It's like, I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. I'm like, do I want to take videos of these properties that aren't that pretty, that they're kind of fixer-uppers, they just need a little bit of work, stuff like that.
Yeah, well, anything, any traction is good traction.
Yeah.
And the way that I've gotten business is I do like presentations on like a walkthrough of a house that I'm currently showing or whatever, right? So if you're gonna go either go to a new construction, which I love going to construction because it's already staged, it's they love that stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, go to new construction, just make a reel on these videos and then share that on your Instagram. People actually comment on those all the time, like, hey, where's this at?
Yeah.
You don't even have to put location, just put price of house, beautiful. They'll all comment.
Yeah,
That's one
I
thing
didn't
you
even
should
think of
definitely
that.
do.
The new construction where it's already staged. I'm gonna start doing that.
Yeah,
Mark
they
my
love it. As
words.
long as you got permission from them, go to their model home and just say, hey, my name is so and so with so and so brokerage. Would you mind if I just do a quick video so I can maybe bring a buyer to your community? And actually, that's how I got a lot of my new construction. One of my friends in Gustavo, he kills it on Instagram, and him and his wife do. But he's the realtor. His wife is she does like high end makeup, like she's great at it. But he does nothing but new construction based on what I taught him on that. He does that now, and I believe like almost 100% of his business is from new construction, and
Oh
he's in
wow.
too with Team Legacy. So he is a great resource. Follow him on Instagram. His name's Gustavo Rojas.
Okay.
Great guy. Now, here's to finish up our little interview. I got two little questions I kind of want to talk about. So, what are your goals? Your final goals for this year? Because we're already in the last quarter. And what are your goals for next year? What do you want to do?
Okay, so now that I'm doing real estate full time, uh, big big goal of mine is to create less distractions daily for myself. Just create a better schedule for myself. Number one, because that'll of course keep me on top of everything that I need to be doing and just having that schedule. And I know Jeremy, my mentor, his literally, if you see his schedule, like every single hour of every day is mapped out on his schedule. It's the craziest thing. When I first like started talking to him like as my mentor, he showed me that and I was like, holy crap. Like literally he knows what time he's eating a meal at every day. Can you hear me? Oh, okay, cool. And then yeah, so better schedule for myself and just consistency. I need more consistency with my schedule, and back then I couldn't because I was flying. It's very inconsistent. Flying is way different, with your schedule and stuff because you're always gone. There is no consistency with the flying schedule. Um, and then more active on social media for sure. I need to be doing that. And then goals for next year, you said?
Yeah. So, what do you want to do as far as production as well goes into this year, next year?
Yeah.
So all that.
Yeah, so next year, the goal is to close on at least 45 transactions with an average sales price of 300,000. But
Beautiful.
I think once the year starts and I like start really moving, I think that's going to change very quickly. Like higher sales price, probably 600 to 800 at least. Probably by the mid year next year for sure. But yeah, so 300,000 sales price, 45 transactions need to be closed. Doesn't matter how I do it, but I got to do it next year for sure.
That's awesome. And I'll be rooting for you. Obviously, if you need my help ever, I'm here to help you as well.
Yeah, thank you.
We
I
are in the same
appreciate it.
family of Team Legacy and at eXp. Now, to finish off this last question on this interview, before I ask you if you have any kind of things you want to add, what advice or tips, besides what you're given, would you want to give to people that want to become full-time agents?
Okay. Yeah. So, number one, I would say do not rely on friends and family to bring you business because I have seen it personally. I have friends who are buying houses right now, and guess what? They're not using me. They're using other realtors that they've used in the past or that they know of, and it's kind of like a harsh reality, right? Having to deal with that, but it's okay. And learn the contracts. That's advice for sure. Learn all the 1 to 4 family contract on submitting an offer to a property. Learn the listing agreement when you're going in because you need to be able to explain the contracts. That's what Jeremy taught me. He was like, number one, before you actually get out there, you need to learn the contracts and you need to know, because if they ask you and you don't know, then what are you even doing? You know, what are you doing at their house trying to get them to list with you if you don't even know what the contract says or what it means, you know? So learn the contracts, and I would definitely position yourself in a spot where you have people who are rooting for you, like at eXp. Like, we have Team Legacy. I know I can rely on you if I have a question. I know I can rely on Jeremy. Don't hesitate to ask questions, and definitely put yourself in a spot where you have those people, like at eXp, where you have those people who are willing to answer questions at any time, like 11 p.m. You know, not that's a little late, but you know, you will probably get a reply from somebody at 11 p.m. if you have a serious question.
Oh, absolutely. So, if anybody is ever interested in joining real estate and any kind of questions like the process, in any state, doesn't matter, not even just in Texas, but contact Laura. She'll be able to help you guys out. And what's a good email that they can contact you in?
It's LORA.KARACIC@exprealty.com. Just my first name, last name with the period in between, at exprealty.com.
Right there, guys. So
LORA.
Did I do it right?
LORA. You put LARA.
Oh, see, I need to learn how to spell. I'll put that again, guys, because I did that live as we were talking. But that is her email. There you go.
There we go. Perfect.
Yeah, that was my fault. So
No
get her
problem.
contact, and any kind of questions you guys have, definitely let us know. As far as joining eXp or just becoming a realtor, we'll definitely love to answer them for you. Brand new agent, 6 months, right?
Yeah, 6 months.
Insane, my friend, insane. 6-7 months into the industry, already crushing it, big numbers, and I can't wait to see what you do next year. So if you guys want to ask them anything else, email her, let us know, and appreciate your time, Laura.
I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care, guys.
Bye.